Hey, it's Jeremy from LATT SEO. In this video, I'm walking through a site audit of Union Corrugating Company to look at their site, especially from an SEO perspective, to see what can be optimized better to help them rank in organic and in AI to generate targeted high-value leads and help them get better results from SEO. So first thing I want to do is look at the site itself, get a little bit of an idea about the company, what the site goal is, things like that. And it looks like the primary goal of this site is to generate contact form submissions here and also potentially link people up with a contractor for their products and potentially to get additional distributors as well based on how this is structured here. But the other thing is they do have individual pages for products, product types. And as you look at these individual products, you can also request a quote of these different products here as well. So it looks like it would probably make sense to rank better for some of these products or product categories. And to do that, let's look at, or to give some ideas about what can be done here, let's look at Ahrefs here. And in here, the data types or data points I like to look at initially are the backlink info here, and then the search data right here. So firstly, from a backlink perspective, I like to look at DR. DR stands for domain rating. It's on a 0 to 100 scale and essentially lets us know how strong or how authoritative a site is. Now, I've said multiple times, DR is not an official ranking metric, but what it does tell us is how strong or how authoritative a website is, and it lets us know the chances of ranking or competing for a keyword or phrase based on the sites competing or currently ranking for that keyword. So 52 in general for most sites across the internet is relatively strong. So this likely gives us a good chance to rank for keywords and phrases we want to rank for. And then the other thing here is looking at this search section. This shows the number of keywords they're ranking for each month and the amount of traffic they're getting each month. And it looks like the trend line overall has been pretty solid over the past year or so. And then a little bit of a decline here in the past month or two. And there is a Google update currently rolling out as of end of September here, mid-September. So that could be related to that. It could also be related to a number of other factors. So let's look at keywords here and see what they're ranking for and get an idea of what could be potentially improved for them. So if we filter this to US keywords, and then if we look at intent, commercial and transactional, and the reason why I really like to look at commercial and transactional style keywords, especially for B2B and especially at the start of a project, is in most cases, these are going to give us the biggest value in terms of rankings. When you're ranking for informational or navigational queries, that's fine to generate traffic and also build topical authority or topical relevance for your website. But it is less likely that those types of keywords are going to turn into conversion for you. So if we look at the commercial and transactional style key phrases, chances are better that we're going to convert from them. And in many cases, they are less competitive in the general sense that there are less overall websites competing for those terms because most websites are looking to just get more traffic. So in that case, it oftentimes gives us a leg up if we were doing this correctly. Now, number of opportunities you can see here, metal roofing, for example. If we look here and you can see the volume, 85,000 people search this every month. Pretty broad, pretty general, not necessarily a great conversion term here. Corrugated metal, a little bit more specific. Metal roof panels, we're starting to get even more specific here. Metal roofing panels. Here's a quick note is the difference in search between metal roof panels and metal roofing panels. So that is something to think about if you're building or if you're optimizing a page for roof panels to also include roofing on that page somewhere as well. And you don't necessarily need to include metal roof panels, metal roofing panels over and over, but having the variations of those keywords can oftentimes help you rank better for those different key phrases as well. And then, so what I wanted to look at here actually is corrugated metal roofing. And the reason for that, and to look at this, number one, is 5,800 people search this every month. And if I zoom this out slightly here, so you can see here, 5,800 people search this every month, and it looks like they're ranked number 10. But the interesting part about this is 5,800 people are searching this, and it's estimated they're getting 7 visitors. So huge opportunity here. Google and search already understands their site to be relevant, or this page to be relevant for this term. you wouldn't be ranking in the top 20 if you weren't at least somewhat relevant and somewhat optimized for it. So let's look at a couple things here. First, I'll pull up the keyword chart there. First, let's look at the actual search results of this key phrase here. So as we're looking at this, you can see we have Home Depot. And what I'm going to do now is look at this DR column to see, does it make sense potentially for us to compete for this term? So we have Home Depot at 90. We have Menards at 79. Then we have Western States Metal Roofing at 54. Industrial Metal Supply at 55. Corrugated Metal at 21. Reddit 95. Amazon 96. Lowe's at 88. And then here's the site, Union Corrugating, DR 52. So interestingly enough, there's one site here that's ranked higher with a lower DR, and there are two sites that are very close, and both of these are ranking much higher. Now, if you look at the traffic here, you can see that this page on Home Depot gets 40,000 visitors per month. This page on Menards, 20,000. Western States Metal Roofing, 1,300, 5,400 for Industrial Metal Supply. And it looks like they're ranking for some additional terms here. The Industrial Metal Supply page is also ranking for corrugated metal panels. Then we have corrugated metal roofing. And one of the reasons why there's so much more traffic for Home Depot and Menards, number one, because they are so well known, obviously. Number two, they have a much stronger domain. And number three, they're ranking for a more broad key phrase here. So there are a number of factors that go into this traffic column, but to just think about the potential value here is massive compared to where they're currently at. So this tells me, first of all, that this is a keyword or phrase that we could potentially target and potentially rank for if we're optimized better. Now, what needs to be done to optimize better for this? First, I want to look quickly at the titles here. So you can see the title for Home Depot and Menards. These are kind of outliers, again, because they're such strong domains that looking at how they're optimized can sometimes give us mixed results here. So let's look at the ones that we want to potentially compete against from a closer DR perspective. And we can see here, again, remember the term is, zoom this out, is corrugated metal roofing that we're looking at here. And if you look at the titles here of each of these, so number 4 here and number 5, we have deep corrugated roofing panels. So they have corrugated in there. And then for Industrial Metal Supply, corrugated sheet metal and panels. So it is very search can understand that corrugated is one of the primary key phrases here. And then we have corrugated in this one, corrugated in this title, corrugated, Lowe's again with roof panels here. But because they're so strong overall, they can get by with less optimization. And then for Union, they do have corrugating in their domain, but metal residential roofing and wall panels. They don't have corrugating in the title. And if we look at the actual page itself, we go back to this residential page here, and we look at this, you can see here, they have residential panels here. And if I do a Control F on the page for corrugating, the only places they have it are within, so this is just talking about the company name here. And then the other places they have it here down in the footer, talking about company information. So huge gap here if this is a primary page to optimize for residential or corrugating panels. Now, the other things to think about here from an optimization perspective is just looking at some of these optimization factors to see what's going on. So this is an H1, and I've talked about this in multiple videos as well. Let me just give you a quick overview here. So what I talk about when I mean H1 is generally going to be the title or primary keyword. And this should be almost always once used one time per page. And the H1 should be used one time. And then H2 would be a secondary keyword or heading. And these can be used multiple times to segment content. And then H3, these are tertiary keywords or third level, or a heading, a subheading, basically. Same with H2 is also a subheading, but it oftentimes looks more like a main heading style-wise. And you can style these however you want. And then these also can be used multiple times. Now, when you're building content, you want to structure it like this: H1, and then you would go H2, and then you can have as many H3s as you want that are subheadings under the H2. Then you'd go back to H2, and then H3 if necessary, and so on, H2, and then you can do H2, H2. But what you do not want to do is something like this, where you have H1, and then you go H3, H3, H2, and so on. You don't want to skip a level in the hierarchy. And I've also seen cases where they go like this: H1 to H4. In general, when you're doing H tags, you're going to use anywhere from H1 to H3 in most cases, but really you could go H1 to H6. Usually that's not really necessary unless you have a significant amount of content you're working to optimize. So this is a little bit specific of technical optimization of how you're structuring content on your site, but this is very important for helping search and AI organize and understand what keywords and phrases you want to be ranking for. Now, next thing to look at then is optimization recommendations for this page here. If we look at, again, corrugated metal roofing, that's the primary key phrase for this page that they are, or that's the primary keyword that this page is ranking for. And it's not optimized for that at all. So a couple options here. One would be to optimize this page better for the key phrase corrugated metal roofing. Second option would be to build a separate page that is optimized specifically for corrugated metal roofing. And what would happen there is, what I would recommend is to have the H1 be optimized for corrugated metal roofing panels, something like that. And all of the information on that page would then be specifically outlined and optimized for that key phrase. And then the other part is you can have the same product on multiple category pages. So that is another huge opportunity from that perspective, because you can build out as many of these category or collection style pages as you want. And then the one other tip here for content and building these specific category pages. Two things. Number one is looking at all of the additional keywords and phrases you can optimize this page for. So we have 888 keywords here that include corrugated metal roofing. And this gives us a monthly search volume of 15,000 per month, global search volume 28,000. So now we have opportunities like corrugated metal roofing, of course, is the broad one. Corrugated metal roofing sheets, installing. So this is more of would be kind of the how-to informational style content. How-to, again, another one. Corrugated sheet metal roofing, and so on. And again, you can filter these to just look at intent that are commercial, transactional, to get ideas for what keywords you want to build onto your primary category or collection style page. Then the other thing you could do is on that page itself, have questions, and we'll remove this filter here, and put an FAQ section on that page talking about how to install, how to cut, how to overlap, all of those types of things. And this serves two purposes. Number one, helps people who are potentially buying to understand what to do with this product. Number two, helps search and AI understand that you know what you're talking about, which makes it easier for you to rank and easier for you to be found. And depending on the topics here, you can either include these on that category or collection page or build individual content for it. For example, it may make sense how to install corrugated metal roofing to have an individual page for that. And then on that page, you talk about all of these different things: how to cut, how to overlap, how to install on different things, a shed, a house, a barn, whatever, and build all of that content out on that page so that you can optimize the same page or a single page for multiple keywords and phrases and get thousands of visitors to that page. And that is essentially what I would do from a content perspective. Look through this, figure out what keywords make sense to rank for them, and make sure that we have pages that are specifically set up and specifically optimized for these primary keywords so that we are giving us the best chance possible to rank and target as many targeted visitors as possible. Hopefully you got some value from that video. If you did, subscribe to my channel. I greatly appreciate it. And I plan to continue posting more videos like this, talking about B2B SEO strategies and how you can get the most value from your SEO to rank better in organic and AI and generate high value, highly targeted leads and more revenue from your SEO efforts. That's it. I'll see you on the next one.